So I think the first point is that they're not there to serve you, you are there to serve them. Some of the best brands I've seen listen really well. They identify quickly, and the YouTubers have done this so well as well. They adapt to what they feel their consumers are liking, rather than keep pushing a story down a pipeline that's not working. But I also think that if you're asking your tribe, if you want to call it that, to take part, then you have to reward them for doing it. Now, there was some kind of stuff when MTV was first coming out, and there was TV shows on like streaming platforms where there were open calls to action on the show for the viewers to send something in. And then the ones that succeeded were the ones that said, hey, like Penny 1987 sent this in and said that. And it's the other ones that just took that stuff and used it without giving credit back. As a brand, you have an opportunity to make everyone look good. And everyone likes someone who makes them look good. Like, don't hog the limelight. Open it up and allow, and this is again what the fitness brands do so well, but highlight and showcase brilliant stuff that your consumers, audiences, tribes have done. Like, don't let it be me. Like, share it out, retweet their stuff, or whatever it might be that you can do. I think it's really important to do that, because you can't work on the story and the positioning until you've cast that fishing line I was talking about. And sometimes working with the brand and they define their goals, you also need to then take another step back and look to see, does that align with what they're aiming for? Like, if their goals is to, like, I don't know, get more people to plant trees in the world, like that has to go right into the kind of core values and DNA of their visual kind of communication as well. Like, I've seen along the way, I actually worked with a brand a couple of days ago that they felt that they had sort of become defined by their clients. And they'd found themselves doing a lot of work, for example, in the NHS and with charities, and they'd become the brand that does that. And through working with them, they're like, yeah, that wasn't actually what we were. We've sort of morphed into that because that's our client base. So I think it's really important to make sure that the brand goals, so even before that question, the brand goals align with the brand values. Because then once you've got the brand values, you build out the brand goals, then you expand and extend that into the story and the positioning of that. So I think, yes, I'd even put one point before defining the brand goals, right? Which is the DNA of the brand itself. Because I think that everyone's got a little bit of something. Everyone's got a little bit of hero, innocent, lover, jester, magician. Everyone's got a little bit of that. And the everyman, for me at least, kind of kills all of that. It takes it all away, because all of the other things are emotional drivers or behaviors or mindsets. Magician, lover, hero, jester, caregiver. Every man don't do anything. What's every man do? And I don't believe in every man, because I think that's almost like a shell of a person. I think it's lazy. I think it's like when I work with brands and they say, okay, this is for men aged 18 to 35. I go, who the hell are they? Or I work and they do like a focus group and the flip chart comes out and they go, this is Emma. She's 32. She loves Laura Ashley and she's a vegan. I go, you're making it up, right? So for me, I think it's almost like a silhouette of someone to be every man, because everyone's got a little bit of something that ties into those other 11 archetypes. I will say no, I don't think there does, because I think that great storytelling can transcend things that cost a lot of money, right? Yeah. I've worked on projects like, for example, with Disney, where there's massive budgets. And I've also worked on projects that are very indie, where there's hardly any budget. My experience is that lack of budget promotes innovative thinking, right? Because the people with not a lot of money have to work harder and think harder to get something out of the box and over the line. The ones with the big budgets can just spray it everywhere and put stuff everywhere, but that does not necessarily mean that that's a good strategy or that's a good story. So I think a real strong, heartfelt story with all of those brand values, DNA, experience designing, all that stuff, emotional design, I don't think that requires a number, a monetary figure next to it. It might require some man hours in-house in terms of thinking and workshopping it through, but I don't necessarily believe that that is a correlation to zeros on the end of a price tag. I think simplicity is key. I think that, and when I said sort of right at the beginning, that it's quite difficult to define a message, a theme, an ethos, of values. And when I said a lot of brands that I've spoken to over the years say, yeah, this is our brand message, and it's like 6 things. And I'm like, no, what is it? Like inspirational, aspirational? Is it head versus heart? Is it triumph over adversity? Like, let's nail it. You want to try to nail it in a sentence so that it punches somebody and they go, oh my God, I feel that. So yes, simplicity is key. So I always kind of do the like yes and question when I'm told what a brand value is, because it's still too kind of loose. And it's really difficult to do, right? So I'm not kind of belittling that. It takes a lot of brain, because what you end up keep doing is they say, oh yeah, we're these 6 things. You go, yeah, and how can you distill it more? We're distillery. How do you distill it more? How do you distill it more? How do you distill it more? Because I want to get it as a one-liner. I want to get it as a one-liner that I can feel the emotion and I can feel the conflict in that one line. So pointers on stripping it back would be simply to keep refining, tweaking until you've nailed it. And it's a bit of a pain in the arse doing that sometimes, because you just want to run with it. But if you can get it to that point, it opens up all of the opportunities, because everyone around the table understands that ethos so well, and everyone can feel it. I probably would, yes. And the reason I would is that, like I say, even the long-standing brands, sometimes it becomes like a given that this is who we are and this is what we do. Like even with the Forever Mark De Beers thing, right? Sometimes you need that refresh and reframe. So I think the long-standing brands may be a long-standing brand, but they've still got new people coming in and out of the company, right? Yeah. So I do think, yes, the same approach is always good for a long-standing brand, just to do that refresh and just see maybe there's values that aren't so relevant even 5-10 years ago as they are today. So 100% yes, I would.
Well, I just want to thank you, Alison, again for joining us today. I know I've learned a lot, and I'm sure our guests have learned so much as well. 100%. Now, if people wanted to stay in touch with you, what's the best way for them to contact you again? Okay,
good question. Thank you for asking that. So the email address is simple. It's hello@storycentral.com, and then everything goes from there. Yeah. But thank you, Peter, and thanks for being such a great moderator. We could talk for ages.
My pleasure. And if you want to follow us at Distillery, you can find us on our socials at We Are Distillery.